Goo. Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everybody. It is Friday night. Two Friday nights ago, we finished up with the Apes trilogy with Caesar, and now we're beginning a whole new one. And this is going to kick off the Die Hard discussions, starting with Die Hard 1. If you'll excuse me for 1 second, I need to close a door.
Now, were we gonna do the chant and everything we talked about? Oh wait, we're live. Oh crap, never mind. I'm not here.
Yes, you are. You are here. See?
Oh.
You're there.
I'm Eddie Van Halen.
Okay, I'm back now. Sorry about that. My aunt was kind of getting a little loud with the snores. If that picked up on here, oh my god, that would have been funny, but still. All right, and now Fanbassador. I love
Take
that
away all my
profile.
fun.
All right, I love that avatar there, Chris. But anyway,
I do too.
back to what I was saying. We're getting into Die Hard, and contrary to unpopular belief, folks, I can ask Alexa, and I'll tell you right now, I got her on my phone, so I will, just to prove it to you all. Let me just get it all loaded up here.
If you do what I think you might be doing, I'm not going to be happy with you.
Asking her a certain question. How you doing, Ethan Edwards?
Ethan, good evening.
Okay,
Hello,
here we go.
Ethan.
Hello, Ethan.
Yip, yippee ki yay!
Die Hard a Christmas movie?
I knew you were going to do that. It's not.
Yes, it is.
No.
Some would argue that it is the best.
Some would argue.
I
It's
actually
not.
did. I respectfully disagree because I actually did a stream back at Christmas time, and I asked the question of my entire panel: is this a Christmas movie? And everyone said yes, it is a Christmas movie.
Okay, that's fine. Everyone said it. I'm going to tell you exactly what my research has always said, and only recently has he mildly changed his answer. The answer that John McTernan said, or I don't know how to say his last name that well, but
That's
the
right.
director flat out was asked, "Is this a Christmas movie?" And he said that at the behest of Fox and the production company, he was asked to put Christmas as a backdrop to lessen the violence and the seriousness. So Christmas was only used as a backdrop to lessen its whole overall weight.
That is what
And
he said at the time.
Wait. And because of that, it is not a Christmas movie. It's what I call a non-Christmas Christmas movie because it happens to be in Christmas, but Christmas does not have to happen for the movie to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he recently has said that because over the years, people have viewed it as a Christmas movie, then who is he to say it isn't? But he has never said it is. So
Well,
it is
I'll
a
give you
subjective thing. It is
I will
subjective.
give you that.
And I will give
Yeah,
everybody
okay.
who thinks it is one that it's subjective. And if you want it to be, look at my top 10 non-Christmas Christmas movies. Die Hard was number 2. And I even say, listen, if you think it is, then it is. But I say it isn't.
It even has a Christmas
Okay.
steelbook jacket.
I know.
When they were doing Bruce Willis's roast,
Mhm.
oh, I
he
love that
even
roast.
said- He even said Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's never going to get answered because there is no answer to it.
Exactly.
It's like,
Yeah,
it's
it's
like any
subjective.
other. Well, who was I talking to today? I was talking to Mr. Londell. Mr. Londell even brought up that it doesn't matter. It's what you think it is, because if you want to go that far, Die Hard is as much a Christmas movie as Godfather is, because The Godfather takes place during Christmas.
Oh, wow.
I mean, so that's the thing. You don't think of it like that, but it's there.
Yeah.
So people latch onto it because it was used to, again, ease the movie, the violence. Because if you do watch it for the time, it was a rather violent movie.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
it was.
And so
Alrighty.
and what's funny is I used to let my kids watch it.
Yep. So let me address the chat.
Sorry.
So
Yep.
Ethan, oh, you work at Shaheen's up in where I live, yeah. So yeah, oh, I remember you now. I think you're the one that I call Batman all the time. I think.
Is that because he's
Because your
Batman?
profile picture suggests different,
Uh-oh.
or I cannot tell from your profile picture. But yes,
Oh,
thank
shut
you
up,
for
Deej.
stopping in. Dude, it's a Christmas movie. It's a Christmas movie, period, Chris.
Wait, go ahead and take down that really quick, and take down my. Actually, you don't have to take down my. You don't have to take down my name, but go ahead and take that down really quick. And Deej, I have a present for you.
Oh gosh, yeah. Sorry about this. This thing just keeps on putting stuff up there. Yeah, there we go. But yeah,
That's all right. We're all friends here. D, good to see you, man.
It's all. It is.
Yeah,
And
Orange
the price is
believe
right.
D.
good to see you.
So, all right.
So yes,
Die Hard.
let's get into it. So the movie basically starts off with John McClane on a plane. Try saying that 5 times fast. Anyway,
John McClane on a plane. 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 There you go. 5 times.
there you go. And so
Technically, yes, you can, D. Just called the middle finger emoji.
yeah, there you go. So anyway, he is uncomfortable on the plane, and this guy's telling him, "You want to know how you relax? Make fists with your toes." I'm like, fists with your. This is an '80s movie. Roll with it. So
You know what's funny?
Yes.
I'll tell
Yeah.
you this: when I fly into Vegas every time, I don't do the fist thing, but I will take my shoes off as soon as I get to my hotel room with my socks on, and I will walk around because the pile carpet they use is very comforting, and I don't have an issue flying. It just makes your feet feel good, and it kind of relaxes you. You're like, I'm here. You know, the room's kind of cool, and it's kind of like breathe. You're here. Let's let it all just boom. And so it makes sense to me.
Feel good.
yep.
I do the same thing.
I've never flown, so I wouldn't know.
I mean, this movie is really dated because you can tell by what happens in that beginning, because he's getting his stuff out and the guy sees the gun in his holster and he's like,
Yeah.
"Okay, I'm a cop." I mean, cops can't bring their weapons on board anymore. They have to have them in a lockbox.
Yep. Only air marshals can now.
Yep, only air marshals are allowed to carry on a plane. Now, then there's the party at Nakatomi Plaza, and this is basically setting up the other characters, his wife, who basically is a workaholic. And
What about the driver?
Yeah,
The
we'll
limo
get to
driver.
him in a second.
Okay,
So
okay.
they introduce him first,
Yeah.
or they introduce her first. You also get Ellis, the jackass,
Mhm.
who's
And
trying
Cokehead.
to put the moves on. No, he's trying to put the moves on McClane's wife.
Mm-hmm.
He's also a
And-
cokehead.
Yeah, and then we get back to the airport, and you get introduced to Argyle, the limo driver.
Mhm.
Oh my
So
god!
how does this work, guy?
Yeah,
I was kind of hoping you could tell me this is my first trip.
yeah, I know, right? And so he's talking to him. But he's being chatty, like some limo driver people do, some taxi people do. They want to chat up the person. Well, so you ask a lot of questions, Argyle, and you're very quick, Argyle, because he's guessing. He's like, "Oh, you're married, aren't you?" And he's like, "Yep, I'm married." And
So she's out here, you're there. Let me guess. You thought she was going to come out here, she was going to make it, she was going to run back. Like I said, you're very quick, Arg.
yep.
I love it.
Oh, man.
Happy Dino, good to see you. And
Happy,
yep. Let me.
happy, joy.
So then he gets dropped off at Nakatomi, and she talks with her kids, which establishes, well, there's definitely a family in this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So she's also talking to. I mean, this movie actually does minute detail very well, because she
Yes.
also establishes that the house sitter is, well, an immigrant.
Mm-hmm.
And that will actually come to play later on
Yes.
with a very execrable character. But anyway,
Yeah, the reporter you want to punch in the face repeatedly
oh yeah, tell me about it. But anyway,
with a sledgehammer.
we'll leave it there. So he gets to the party after going through the whole thing with Argyle. Argyle says he's going to park down in the lower,
Garage.
yeah, the garage. I forgot what the word was called. I'm sorry.
All right.
But, yeah, I love how the sequel got Walter Peck. I know, and it's the same freaking reporter in the second one. But anyway,
The first two are really well done. The third one I enjoy, but it's definitely they try to tie it back, but they don't do nearly as good a job as 1 and 2.
Yep.
Mm.
Now, John gets to the party, or gets to the building. He looks in. He's trying to find his wife on the search board, and it says, or he looks under M, McLean, you know? Well, it's not there. So he has to look, or so he's like, God damn it, Holly. He knows it's under Gennaro, so he finds her through Gennaro. And it's a very uncomfortable reunion. And before he actually sees his wife, he meets her boss. God damn it, I'm blanking on his dang name. Oh,
Nakatomi.
no, Takagi. There we go, Takagi.
Yes.
And Takagi brings him into her office, where Ellis is literally snorting a line of coke, and I'm like,
Yeah.
freaking kidding me, dude. And
Missed some there.
that is one of the most uncomfortable scenes you could tell that they played it very realistic, because he was very uncomfortable. He's like, this is her husband. He's a cop. And the way he says it, he's like, he's a cop. He's like, oh, yeah, good. But, yeah, you missed something there.
Okay, God. Stunning.
I mean, oh my.
Megatron.
Oh, jeez. I hate the dialogue. I ain't going to finish that.
Kind of like that old guy in Clerks.
Mm-hmm. But yes. So then Holly comes in, and they're discussing it, or he's like, do you got a place where I can wash up? And they do a cut away from the party and the main thing to a mysterious vehicle that's just driving up the roads. You know? Something weird, but not out of the ordinary. Because, well, vehicles drive around roads, you know. So then they start discussing their estrangement and how he's like, I bet you didn't mind using your maiden name, Gennaro. I mean, especially when you're cashing the checks and whatnot.
And he says, don't mind the last name when you're cashing the check. It's just, some of the things he says is just, it's like, wow. That's,
and she basically used her own, or her maiden name, because she wanted respect in her job.
It's an Asian company, and and like she says, if she uses that last name, it lessens who she is because she's a female.
Yeah.
If she uses her name, it's her.
Yeah.
You know, so, and it makes sense.
It does. It really does, because, well, in certain cultures, there are certain standards, there are certain traditions, and a name means everything in certain cultures, especially when it comes to business cultures and business economics. If you make a name for yourself, you don't have to rely on a name that you fell in with. So that turns into a whole marriage argument. And you can tell that these two are really, they miss each other, but sometimes they just can't stand each other.
Mm-hmm.
Because she even tells him, I miss you. And he's like, I miss you too. And then it just really goes downhill from there. So he actually starts, or while she walks out of there and he's cleaning up, they get interrupted by a couple that just wants to start getting it on, which
And
was
then,
funny.
yeah, and then
I
the
mean,
secretary comes in.
Yep, she's pregnant, and she's like, the boss is looking for you to give a speech and to dote, basically, and to gloat, dote and gloat.
Mhm.
So she lets him relax and whatnot, and he does the whole fist with the toes, and he's like, "Huh, son of a gun." That was a cute scene. Now, with the, I wouldn't exactly call it mundane beginning. It actually does have, or Die Hard's beginning, while it's not action packed, it really sets up the characters in a very good way. It really establishes who is who, what's going on in the backstory of people, and what characters you just know you're not going to like later on, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
I was just going to say that it's something that's missing from a lot of action movies today. Is that back in the 80s and 90s, they did a really good job where the action didn't happen till like after the first 30 minutes because they had to set up who's here, why is this happening to this person, or why is this person going to be thrown into the predicament they're in. And you have to have some attachment to this character because while it may be fun to watch him kick ass in the movie, if you don't have any real emotional tie to this person or care about this person, you get to learn he has kids. He's in a rough marriage right now, and he wants it to work, but he has this set idea of what should be going on. And this whole thing, by knowing this stuff and learning about this stuff as the movie goes along, it actually it changes who he is enough because his priority changes. Because we find that out in the second movie that the priority has changed now. Yeah. But if you don't get this first 30 minutes, 45 minutes, you don't care about that. It doesn't matter. It's just he's shooting people. It's fun to watch, but that's all it is. And that's what a lot of movies today do. It's just like, here's John, and he's in the building, and there's terrorists. Let's go. Boom.
Exactly.
It doesn't work like that. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right with what you said.
I mean, that's one of the great things about 80s movies. They really do establish characters. They had great character establishment. They had great character building and world building even. And you get invested in these characters. Now, they don't really do it later on in the last two, Live Free and A Good Day.
No.
Because, well, everybody already knows who John McClane is. And everybody already knows who his daughter is. And those are the only two characters that the audience really want to identify with, so they don't really put a full background into anybody else, except for little sprinkles here and there. But in the original movie, Die Hard, they give you all you need to know about certain characters, and they handle it well. So then we get into the second act where the bad guys are on their way. They immediately start killing people, or they kill the entrance security. They start locking down the building, shutting down security. Some of them are speaking German, some of them are speaking Italian. You see an Asian guy that's also in Big Trouble in Little China. And so then you find out that they got a hacker. And yeah, so it's a very sophisticated group that is doing this. So then when they get up there in the elevator, and one of the guys that was handling, or the smart one that was handling the electricity and the phone lines, him and his brother, because yes, he has a brother, or they established that they're siblings. or his brother is like, Jesus, you're taking too freaking slow, man. And he just takes a freaking machine gun to the damn.
No. It's
Chainsaw.
chainsaw.
Yeah, sorry about that. A chainsaw to the freaking power.
Yeah. The guy's sitting there and he's just casually doing it, and then he comes up and he's just like, and he's like, stop!
Yeah, and he's like, holy shit, I gotta get this one done. Just give me a second, will you? And he actually gets it done really quick, just in time. And you see the relief, and he's like, I swear to God, if you weren't my brother, I'd kill you. I mean, the one thing I do wish they had in this movie was subtitles. So you know exactly what they're saying in German. Unfortunately, in the digital copies I have, they don't have subtitles.
Really?
Nope.
Thankfully, I guess Grandpa's TV does it automatically.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
But yeah. So then they get off the elevator and they're all on the 30th floor. And who is the bad guy but Professor Snape from Harry Potter?
I love it. That's my
Rickman.
favorite thing about this whole entire movie.
Yes, Alan Rickman, people. And he is a
Hans
German in
freaking
this one.
mother freaking Gruber.
Yep, Hans Gruber.
He is so casually one of the best movie villains ever. It's
Yes.
like, but it's
Facts.
so effortless for him.
Facts.
It's like in this movie, he's just so nonchalant because he plays exactly what you would think. I mean, because it isn't until the very, very end that he really starts to lose it. Because everything goes wrong because John's screwing up everything, and he's like, "Hey, listen, it doesn't matter. This had to happen anyways. Who cares? This was bound to happen. The cops were bound to get called. We were going to do this anyway, so let it happen." And he's just he's so carefree about it, and it's so cool because it's like I'd be scared of that guy because there's nothing he's worried about, and it's like, holy crap!
And he actually does explain or express just how intelligent he is, because he singles out Takagi and basically goes through his entire life history to call him forward, and it's like, oh my God, man. I mean, how he was born in Kyoto, his parents moved to California, or 2 years later, then they were interned in one of the internment camps during World War II. I mean, he literally goes through his entire freaking life history. And then Takagi just stops. Now, during the roundup, you see that the couple that interrupted John and Holly were actually in another office. Now, this movie was not afraid to have nudity and stuff either, because this movie was rated R. And
it's John McTiernan.
Yeah.
John McTiernan is he's not a modest person. But anyway, fun fact: it ain't Christmas unless Hans Gruber is hanging from Nakatomi Plaza. You mean falling from Nakatomi Plaza? Yeah. Alan Rickman plays bad guys so well, he got bored with them and wanted to play more heroes. Well, they made him one of the ultimate heroes in the Harry Potter franchise. Let's just say that.
Yes,
Anyway.
they did.
Yes. And
So,
can we just-
also, rip to Alan Rickman. He is missed. He really is.
Absolutely.
Well, here's the thing about as Alan Rickman as Hans Gruber. The man could read the phone book. He'd probably make a woman O-face. Just saying.
Yeah, he'd definitely get a woman wet and around. Yeah. Anyway,
I love the setup because I don't know if you're about ready to get to that, but the setup where he's reading off all he's learned about Takagi.
Yeah, he went through his entire life history.
And then like I went back. I'm going to go back to that. Just he's not there. He is not in that tense situation. He's so carefree about it. Because when they're going up the elevator, I forget what he says about this, and it's a very famous suit shop in England or somewhere.
Yeah.
And he says, Rumor has it says Arafat gets his there. I have 3 myself, and he's just like, hey, talking fashion. Then he goes upstairs. He talks. He's like, hey, I love this. Look at the models, the preciseness. He's into all of the arts and beautiful architecture and all of this stuff. How does this guy? I mean, because then the next scene, which I won't say, I'll let you get to it. But the next scene, you see, he ain't afraid. He is in charge.
Yes. I mean, this is a person who, like Chris said, you don't want to mess with this person. He handles these situations so freaking cold and calculating. And when we do, because this is exactly where it moves into, where he wants, or their motive is money, the $640 million in negotiable bearer bonds. And because, Takagi does not have the code for the security, I mean, he's like, even if I gave you the code by midnight tonight, you're not going to be able to do anything with it.
So it doesn't matter if you give it to me.
Exactly.
Just the way that he,
yeah. And he's like, okay, so it doesn't matter if you give it to me. All right. Now I'm going to count to 3. There isn't going to be a 4.
And he takes the silencer off too. I mean, again,
this is
the things he does in that scene. Let's go through it really quick. He's doing it again, like you said, cold and calculating, and he isn't worried about whatever goes on. First off, the thing that separates him, like I said, makes him quietly one of the best movie villains of all time is he doesn't have the blonde-haired German guy shoot Takagi. No, he takes the gun, and as he's sitting there, taking the thing off, just lightly places it on the table. He doesn't care. It doesn't make any difference. He says, fine, we'll do it the hard way. Boom. And just done.
That window was literally painted red with blood, man. I mean, they did not hold back when he blew his head off, or when he blew Takagi's head off. It was like, holy shit. When I first saw it, this is when I first saw it as an adult, and I watched it like a few years ago, and I'm like, holy shit, that was just yikes. But then, because when I saw it as a kid, you're not really paying attention. You're like, whoa, dude, awesome, cool. I mean, now as an adult, you're like, holy fuck, dude. What kind of gun did he have? But yeah. And
it's fairly close range.
I can tell you exactly what caliber it is. It's a 9mm.
Mm-hmm. So does a 9mm spray like that? Jeez.
Should have a hollow point.
Yeah. As long as it has a hollow point in it, yes. But if it's a straight, just like a regular round,
it just go through.
It would just go straight through straight through and out the back.
Yeah. So now we know what they want, and we know that they're not willing, or that they're willing to get dirty. They're willing to do some very heinous shit to get what they need. And while they're talking about it, John McClane sees it and he tries to get the hell out of there. And they go check, and they couldn't find him. Now, Argyle, while this is happening, he tries calling Argyle, and he's like partying in the limo. He doesn't hear. He's like, please tell me you heard the shots, Argyle. Argyle's partying in the limo, man. He doesn't care.
Hey, girl, I'll stop by later. And he's talking to his girlfriend. He's got the bear there.
He's drinking and all this. He's literally just freaking. So
he's living it
this
up.
is the point where you realize Argyle's not going to have a job after the movie.
Pretty much, no. But so McClane gets up to, I think, the 32nd floor, and he has to do what he has to do. He's like, think, man. Why didn't you do it? Because you would have died yourself, asshole. And he's one of the best things about John McClane. He does it in every movie. He always yells at himself. He's always yelling at people, but he's also yelling at himself too while he's doing it. And it just gets so freaking funny in each movie too. Mm-hmm. Now, so he sees the fire alarm. He sees the things. He's like, okay, this is what I'll do. And so he pulls a fire alarm. And, these guys are already planned for that. Shut off the power call 911 and take care of it. And that's how quick Hans is able to handle. He's like, all right, just call 911. Tell him that it was a false alarm and shut off the alarm. By the way, which floor did it come from? 32. Check it. And so he sends up the nerd brother. The nerd brother, who happens to be very trigger happy, by the way, is like, don't worry, I will not hurt you. Then he jumps right by when he thinks he sees him and shoots. Well, it's like, okay, you said you weren't going to shoot him, so we've already established that's a lie. And McClane gets behind him, puts the gun up to his head. He's like, you're not going to shoot me. Oh, yeah? You're a cop. You have rules. Something that my sergeant keeps reminding me.
Something my captain tells me all the time. Yeah. Or whatever.
Something along those lines. And then they get into a scuffle on a fight, and he breaks the dude's neck, falling down the stairs. And you hear, when he gets into those scuffles, you hear him say, "I'm gonna fucking kill you, motherfucking." He's always doing it. It's like, oh my god, man. Did anyone else think Alan Rickman did a decent American accent?
Yes.
Actually, no.
Oh wait, no. I think he did because he's faking it. What he's trying to do, he did perfectly. He sounds over Americanized.
Yes, because
that's the whole point of that scene.
Yeah, because we do establish that when he's talking with McClane later on, we do establish that he knows that this is a person who's probably studied American culture through movies and whatnot. Which, how you doing, Sith Lord? It's always good to see you, JJ.
Hey, JJ.
Hey, JJ. Good to see you, man.
And Soul Assassin, thanks for coming in. Happy Dino. I really should.
Yes, you really should.
How many other people are here? And I do want to thank everybody for getting in here. I'm kind of scared at this moment. I think that Goth Girl could kick my rear end all over the place. Deej, she probably could.
Yeah, because you really haven't let her say anything.
I'm a 4th degree black belt in 2 different martial arts.
Yeah.
Oh, not to mention she works in prisons.
Yes, exactly. So she hangs out with her, so she can kick the crap out of inmates.
She chews the lightning and farts thunder.
Mm-hmm. So
I'm actually quite nice. I try not to fight anybody.
Yeah, it's always last resort. But anyway, so he kills the guy, and he decides to send a message. Now, this is how you know that McClane's not a person that's very stealthy, tactical. He's a person that just tackles it head on. He's a cowboy. Instead of freaking hiding the body, he puts it on display. Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho. Are you freaking kidding me?
Well, he's taunting him. He's trying to up. He's trying to up the
ante. Yeah,
the game.
And he also was above them in the shaft of the elevator. He wanted to, but you also, by taunting him, he did it in a way that he was smart, because he had the marker and he kept on writing names. Get Carl, okay, Carl's name. Hans, okay, got his name, and other ones. And so he did it to get intelligence. And then John tries using the radio on the roof to get help. And I'm like, oh my God.
Does it sound like I'm ordering pizza?
Sir, if you don't get off this line, we're going to have to send a unit down there. Fine, send it.
Send the fucking unit. Arrest me, for fuck's sake. You'll see for yourself. And then they hear the gunshots. Now, this is one gripe that I did have. They heard the gunshots because you see them pull off their headsets.
Yep.
But what do? Send a unit to check to see if there's any problems.
Well, it is the Los Angeles Police Department. Just saying.
Yeah, it's like, did you not just hear the fucking gunshots?
Well, in
I mean,
all
they-
fairness, they could, since they thought it was a hoax, they could have that. The reason why they did that is because somebody could have been faking it. That's why she said it the way she did.
Yeah. I mean, yes, because initially with the false alarm of the fire alarm, they established it was a false alarm. So that's why they all turned away from Nakatomi. Now, he does, or this is after the brother realizes that his brother is dead. Carl's brother is dead, and he wants blood and whatnot. He's like, you guys don't do anything. I'm going to, or wound him if you have to, but I'm going to kill him. And that gun he has, I cannot remember what kind it is, but it looks so freaking futuristic.
Yep.
It's actually it's an early version of the Steyr AUG.
All right. Well,
You see, this is why you need to invite her to anything that has firearms in it, because she's like, that's this. Oh, by the way, that's this. What are the two guns that Han Solo's blaster was based off of?
That I actually don't know.
It's a German, it's a Mauser and So, but still,
Cool.
It's like, but if you looked at it, you'd be like, oh, that looks like this. And no, I think that's awesome that you're doing that, because.
But yeah, that or the what was it called again, Caroline?
The gun?
Yeah,
Steyr AUG.
a Steyr AUG. Are those things known for penetrating power?
Yes, they are. They range from a they go as high as a 50 caliber and go as low as a 22.
Oh, so pretty much the whole range.
Yes.
Damn.
So, yeah, that one that he has was going through some pretty tough metal, but also some pretty weak metal too, just to be 100% sure. But those metal doors that they had, that one punched right through like it was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I would take bets that's it's the 5.56 round.
Yeah. Alrighty then. So when John gets up there, one of the things he notices is the topless woman picture or the Playboy pictures, and so when he's getting back up there, he literally gives it a tap. He's like,
Miss March.
Yeah.
It's Miss March. I know that because that was my birthday. At one time, I used to have every Miss March of all the Playboys, just because that's my birthday. It's like, hey, I gotta have these.
Nice.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Hey. So a lot of Miss Marches are very, very nice. I just gotta say, but.
So then John's getting chased. Now, remember also, folks, John has no shoes on.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because he took his shoes off to make fists with his toes. And it's like, oh crap. So we know that this is also a setup for something later on. Now, because he's now in he's on defensive, and he has to get the hell away from these guys. He finds a duct. He almost falls down a huge shaft, and he gets into the duct. And this is one of the famous trailer moments. Come out to the gas. We'll get to the gas.
Have good laughs. Now I know how to TV dinner.
I know how a TV dinner feels like.
Yep.
Turns it off, and that's when he sees him.
Yep. And so then we get introduced to police officer Roy, or not Roy, but Al Powell.
He is also, some of those who may not know, he also played on
Family Matters, yes.
Family Matters, yep.
Family Matters as
Ben Johnson.
He's also a cop.
Yep.
Original Bell Johnson.
He's done like a lot of his stuff. Actually, he plays a cop.
Yep.
I can't remember if he's one of those actors who used to be a cop or not.
I think so.
There's a few. What was his name? I'll look it up while you guys.
Well, I think didn't he also play a limo driver in Crocodile Dundee 2?
Yeah, he's a limo driver. Yes.
I thought so. I
just watched that last night. Funny because I was like, oh yeah, hey, Die Hard and Family Matters.
He had a pretty good career for a while.
He
did.
Yeah, he did. And sadly, he also passed on.
Well,
he actually passed on like 7 or 8 years ago, I think.
Actually, no, he's still alive.
Wait, what?
Mm-hmm. Born August 16th, 1952, and no date of birth. No date of death, whatever.
Wow, okay then. I was wrong. I could have sworn he passed, but there was a different one, I guess. But anyway, so he gets set up with he's at the store and just buying all sorts of different sweets and sugary shit. Things
he
that
was
would
buying
make
a bunch of
diabetic
Hostess snack cakes and Twinkies.
Yeah. And
lots of Twinkies.
And the cash register is just such a fucking asshole.
Oh, shit. He was a municipal corrections officer at Ghostbusters.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. He was.
Right.
I forgot about that.
He was.
Oh, Ghostbusters.
He
just got sprung. The mayor wants to talk to you. Okay.
So he plays a corrections officer. Then he played Crocodile Dundee, the limo driver. But then he went back and played a police officer next to Tom Hanks in Tuna and Hooch.
Oh
then he was an ambulance driver in Remo Williams. Then Sergeant Alpal. I mean, geez, this guy played. Oh, and he did the voice for himself in the Die Hard Vendetta game for GameCube.
Yes, he did.
Wow.
I thought that
didn't know that.
He's definitely got around.
Oh, he's made guest appearances. Looks like I'll have to look and see. Oh no, this is the old Equalizer, like the original TV series.
I like that show. That was a good show.
Yeah, it was.
The new one's not horrible. I have a hard time. I wish they would have called it something other than the Equalizer.
Family Matters is a prequel to Die Hard. The kid he shot was Uncle. Oh my God, Soul Assassin.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
But that might make sense. Might make sense though.
Yeah. It might have. Yeah. So now,
Uncle who?
Then,
Urkel.
Urkel. Yeah.
Oh, Urkel. Okay, gotcha.
Did I do that?
So,
yes, he did.
I think that's what he meant to say. Yeah, it was Urkel.
I gotcha.
So,
okay, all right. Yeah.
He gets a call and he says they tell him to investigate Nakatomi. So he tosses all the stuff, but that cashier was a royal prick. He's like, "Before my wife." Yep. She's pregnant. Uh-huh. You just want to shoot that guy because of how much of an asshole he is.
Yeah, but you don't want to shoot him to kill him. You want to shoot him in the dick.
You only want to shoot him, not seriously kill him.
Well, shooting him in the dick wouldn't kill him. It would just maim him.
The Invincible series that's going on right now.
He does a voice in that one.
What? Yeah, wow. He does the voice for Principal Winslow. Carl Winslow. Principal Winslow. Dude, this guy's just all rolls around.
Wow.
Wait. In both comic and television series, the main character attends a high school named after the actor, and the character itself is named after his previous role of Carl Winslow.
Oh my God.
So the school is named after him. So it's named Vel Johnson School, like Vel Johnson High School. But he plays Carl Winslow. Oh my God.
Oh my freaking God.
Everything this guy does reverts right back to him.
Yeah. It is nuts.
It is proven. Reginald Val Johnson is the center of the universe.
Exactly.
He is the source of all goodness and light in the universe.
Well,
he is the answer to life, the universe, and everything. He is 42.
I was waiting for that.
Alrighty.
I am 42.
I am as well. I will be 43 in September.
Listen, I am he as, you are he as, you are me, and we are all together.
Yes.
Am I the youngest on the stream?
Probably. Are you younger than me?
I'm 35.
Yeah, you're the youngest. Anyway,
I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest, so that's okay. I'm
No,
44.
we're
I'm saying
tied.
I'm 40. No. I'm 44. I said I'm 42 because. Oh wait, no. Yeah, 42 because that's the answer to everything.
42.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the answer to everything. That's why I said I'm
It's-
42. I'm not 42. I'm 44, but I am 42. I'm the answer to everything. That's just how.
No, because I'm the answer.
I'm humble too.
No,
If you haven't figured that out.
no, we have established that Reginald Val Johnson is the answer to life, the universe, and everything because he is 42.
I only let him borrow the title from time to time.
Dude, I think he has more clout than you will ever have in your entire life. No offense.
Oh
okay,
yeah,
come
sure.
on.
I say. Sorry.
Let's get back to the movie. So he
Oh,
actually
this is
walks
more
out.
fun.
So he walks out to see because he can actually see Nakatomi from up the street.
Mm-hmm.
And so then he gets in his car and he's like, okay, just check it out. And I love, he's like, who the hell's driving this car? Because he gets there and he's like, none here. So he's like, all right, gotta take a look inside. And it's because he gets bored that he lives. So he gets out and you'd think, or because they also said, get people ready to shoot this motherfucker if anything happens, you know? Also, McLean, after he killed the younger brother of the German, he also has he now has their detonators.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, wait. That was a
Yes.
different thing. Or that was a
No.
different guy.
Yes, because the guy
Yeah,
he killed, at the beginning, ho, I have a machine gun too.
Oh,
He had the
so yes, he
detonators.
did have the detonators. Okay.
Yes.
No, it was
So-
after he killed two guys had the rocket launcher. He got the darn detonators.
No.
No,
Was
the
it?
guy, the
No.
brother had him.
Yeah, the brother had him. Yeah.
He uses the detonators
Oh,
Yes.
to
Yes,
at that
he uses
point.
detonators and C4 to kill them later on. Now,
Right.
So after nothing, or Powell's getting back in his car, and well, how's the best way to get his attention? Throw a body out the window.
Hey, it worked, didn't it?
Yes, it did. And he freaking freaks, man. Welcome to the party, pal.
Wow.
And I just love it, dude. So
and that's when they open fire and everything
Yep.
goes to hell.
and he's like,
Yes.
assistance officer. And then the
Camera-
reporter, played by the illustrious Walter Peck, or Walter Pecker. Anyway,
Is it true? Yes, it is true.
yeah,
This man has
This
no
man
dick.
has no dick.
penis.
yeah,
The
So-
ultimate insult.
Yeah.
Anytime anybody asks you something about a person, say, is this true? Yes, it's true.
Yes.
This person
man
has
has
no
no
dick.
yep. So the reporter catches wind of it, or of a terrorist attack. John contacts Hans. He has the C4 detonators, and he's like, he has a nice little back and forth with him. He's like, this isn't this isn't freaking Western where you get to walk off in the sunset with Grace Kelly, because he's like,
But Gary Cooper
John
doesn't walk up.
Wayne.
or
John Wayne.
Yeah, you ain't John Wayne. You don't get. He's like,
I was always partial to
Yeah.
Roy Rogers.
Roy Rogers, yeah.
yeah.
John Wayne's
And-
the man, the myth, the legend, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really think you have a chance against this Mr. Cowboy? Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Hey, motherfucker.
Yep, and that's the famous line, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker!" That is in every one of them.
Mhm.
Well,
Yep.
sort of.
Yeah.
It sort of
Yeah,
is in
yeah.
Live Free or Die Hard.
Yeah. No, live free
They
or die hard. It is in it. It's a good day to die hard. That I don't think it is.
It's not in the last one. It's kind of like the Arnold Schwarzenegger series where he, at
Yeah.
the very last one, where he doesn't say, I'll be back.
Yeah. We don't talk about that. But anyway,
No, that's blasphemy, of course.
yes. So,
heretic.
so then the media wants to go to Nakatomi, Powell contacts John, and they start talking to each other, and he's like, and that's when the higher up cops get there, and he's like, I think he's a cop. How he talked about fake IDs and whatnot, and the higher up cops, Johnson or something like that, he just doesn't.
That's the FBI guys because they're both Johnson.
Robinson, Wayne Robinson, yeah.
Yeah, no relations.
Yeah. And so he's like, just whatever. And they don't believe freaking Powell. It's like, oh my God, why aren't you guys believing this guy? He's the one on scene. He just got shot at. He kind of has a good gut, so yeah. And so, where am I in the talk? Holly then goes in to talk with Hans. And he's like, what idiot left you in charge? You did. He looks up, he's like, what? When you killed my boss. Oh, okay then. So she's like, we got a pregnant woman out there, and the stone is not helping her back. Also, unless you like it real messy, you might want to schedule some group bathroom breaks. And he's like, okay. And she handles it very well. And so, where are we? The news starts reporting on the attack. And oh my God, they went crazy with that too. Argyle is now aware and starts listening in. The top cop is a real asshole, refuses to see reason of the situation. The cops try to go in. And they get slaughtered. So they bring in the, what do they call it? A striker vehicle?
It's an RV.
It's an armored vehicle. And that particular one is an early version of what's now called the Bearcat.
Yeah. So they try getting in, and well, that's where the rockets come in. And he's like, one rocket sets the thing ablaze, and he's like, God damn it, Hans, you made your point. Or Hans wants him to hit it again. And he's like, you made your point, Hans. Let him get out of there. He's like, thank you. I'll take that under advisement. Hit it again. And so they do. And also the lights are getting, or freaking, I love how Powell's, he's like, they're shooting at the lights. He's like, what are you talking about? Boom, they're shooting at, he's like, yeah, they're shooting at the lights. It's like, oh my God, this is like pure police incompetence. No wonder LAPD sucks. No offense to the real LAPD, but
hey, maybe this is a prequel to Demolition Man where the police turns into a bunch of pansies.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We then so McLean has to think real fast, and he decides to get creative with the C4 and the detonators. And he packs in a couple dets with one of the C4, or with a brick of C4, and just drops it down the damn shaft. And this creates one of the worst special effects I have ever seen. That explosion, you could tell was rotoscoped in. I'm like, oh my God, dude. Wow.
That much C4 would take out maybe
3 floors.
3 floors instead of one entire floor.
Yeah. That would have buckled the building too.
That would have fucked up the building, and the whole thing would have toppled over.
No, it would have imploded.
Maybe. You see, the thing is that takes a lot of precision. That's mapped out. Mm-hmm. So no, it would have caused. I mean, okay, so on the floor where the party was at, they do an accurate job of showing it rattles the building.
Yeah.
And if you notice near the end, that building is starting to fall apart everywhere. I mean,
yeah, it is.
So I mean, I think it's fairly accurate, because you got to think about this. The elevator shaft is going to probably have anywhere from a foot to 2, maybe 3 feet of concrete around it.
Mm-hmm.
So it could possibly, and if it's in the center of the building, which most of them are, it could withstand it. again, it's gonna cause an issue, but it's not like you just walk away from going like, that'll be okay. We'll worry about that later.
Yep.
But
So
no.
then the police chief basically starts bitching at McClane over the radio, and McClane, I love what McClane tells him. He's like, "I'm not the one who just got butt fucked on national television."
Sorry.
It's very true.
It was the perfect line. I'm like, oh damn. So because Ellis is high as fuck and doesn't want to lose his life, he decides to do a real stupid and outs John so he can also negotiate. And John's like, "What the hell did you tell him, Ellis?" He's like, "Told him that we've been friends for a while." He's like, "Hans, I don't even know this dude." And he's like, "John,
He's
dude,
begging.
he's
I mean, you know what? Okay, let's be honest. This does, again, like I said, building character. You learn a lot about John at the beginning, but you also continue to learn that he doesn't like Ellis because he knows what Ellis is doing. He's trying to move in on his wife. But here's the situation where Ellis sticks his foot in his mouth by trying to say he can get John out.
yeah."
And John's sitting there begging him, "Ellis, you don't know these people. You don't know what they can do." He's begging Ellis to shut the fuck up, and he's not doing it. So he does care.
He does care,
people.
yes.
He doesn't like the guy, but he doesn't want the guy to die either. So I think that's very important in this. Again, character building, even within the part that you don't have to be doing that.
Mm-hmm. And then he basically tells him, he's like, "Give me my detonators, or you could say goodbye to your friend." He's like, I can't do it." He realized because if he gives up the detonators, they're all screwed. And so,
pretty much.
well, so ends the line of Ellis, and the cops outside are pissed because he just got outed, and so when he got outed, the press immediately started looking him up. Also, the police are like, "He just got a man killed. He just let that person die. We're taking over and whatnot." Well, Hans Gruber knows now that this is the perfect time to buy time. So he calls them and he's like, "I want you to release all my revolutionary brothers of Asian Dawn, this and that, and Revolution out of Quebec." And he's making false demands, basically, to buy time. And and they're like, and even Carl, the German, is like, "Who the fuck?"
Asian Dawn. He's like, "I read about them in Time magazine."
Yeah, I read about them in Time.
He's like, "I read about them in Time magazine. By the time they're done jumping through our hoops, we'll be all halfway to Tahiti." I think he says.
I think so. Yeah.
Something like that. So then, again, showing he's calculated. He has already figured this out. And up until probably the last 20 minutes of the movie, you could believe he's going to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're almost at the point where they're going to do it if it wasn't for Argyle and John at the end. I mean,
so now the FBI comes in, and it's Johnson and Johnson, no relation.
No relation. And I love that because the chief or whoever's there, the guy that came from LA, he looks at him like, well, it's kind of obvious.
Yeah. It's like, dude, one's black, one's white, no relation. No offense to anybody who is in cross or who might. Never mind. Anyway. So
For those who might be offended, it's not intended that way.
No.
Yep. So Hans decides to get proactive. He goes looking for the detonators and acts like a party goer to fool McClane. Well, and he uses the overt American accent. And McClane, I honestly think that McClane saw right through him.
He did.
Probably.
He does.
Yeah.
But what's funny is that I've always asked the question in my head, and I've watched this movie 100 billion times.
Mm-hmm.
Does Hans have eyes in the back of his head? Because he pulls off that name, no issues, and it's a name that's on the board. I mean, and so I think at that moment, John's sitting there going like, okay, well, maybe.
Yeah.
But he still, I think, wants to be sure. That's why he takes the bullets out and stuff. So.
Mm-hmm. And Well, WM. I mean, he says Bill Clay. Well, WM could mean William.
Yeah, but that's
Possibly.
what I mean. That's what Bill's
Yeah.
short for William. That's what I mean. That's what I mean is that
So
he does a very good job.
But also in that scene, you also definitely hear Rickman's accent slip.
Yep.
And so when he gives him the gun, he's like, "Oh, time for the real thing, Bill." And so he starts speaking German, and then he's like, "No, there's no bullets, you dumbass." He taunts him, but obviously time has passed, and reinforcements arrive. They corner John into a room, and he shows his intelligence once more. Shoot the glass.
Oh yeah,
He's
yeah.
What?
Shoot the glass.
Yep. And he also, because he did notice that John was barefoot, and so
he notices that in that scene again.
Yeah.
Great world building.
Mm-hmm.
You see Hans look, and you can see he knows he's not wearing shoes. So again, it's a subtle hint, but it's important.
Mm-hmm.
Subtle things make a movie.
Yes. And it also works very well in this movie. So then they get the detonators back, and the reporter finds out where John McClane's family lives. And during this time, he freaking when they get to his family's house, the homemaker or the home sitter is like, no, I'm not letting you in here. And he's like, you're going to let us have some, or this is the lowest chance the kids may have to speak with their parents. So you're going to let me talk to them, or I'm going to report you to INS. And I'm like, you seriously just fucking went there?
Yeah, he's actually a douchebag.
Yeah, he is a major douchebag. He plays a douchebag in almost everything he does.
Yeah, but he does a good job. He also plays Jerry Hathaway in Real Genius.
Yep.
He's a great douchebag. I mean, listen, if I'm an actor and I get cast as a douchebag, which I probably would be, I think I'd be okay with that. I'd be like, you know what? Fine. You want to cast me as a douchebag? I can play that part like the back of my hand.
Yeah.
Lines. Oh, I just got to be a douchebag. Good. Okay, I got this.
So McClane's feet are shredded because of, the glass, and he gets into a restroom or a bathroom to get the glass out of his feet, and he starts talking with Roy again. And he's like, you flat-foot Roy, I just don't understand why you'd be out or you'd be a beat cop. And he's like, well, I shot a kid. It was night. It was a ray gun. Looked real enough.
Mm-hmm.
What the thing that they don't teach you at the academy as a rookie is how to live with it. I'll never be able to draw my gun again. That's a setup for later on, which is a great setup too.
It's a very 80s cop setup, but it works.
Exactly. People would think it's a throwaway line, but you find out that throwaway line happened to have a boomerang attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
So now that they have the detonators, Hans is back into tactical mode. He's no longer losing his cool, and he's like, he is now saying they're going to start to cut the power now, and the vault is going to open as a result. Well, then it starts playing joyful because, they actually got the vault open because, they cut the power to the building and plus the surrounding buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Now, McClane is like, what were you doing up there, Hans? So he decides to go looking, and he sees that the entire roof is wired. Now, he also, but before he does that, he does request that Powell find his wife if he doesn't make it out of there, and apologize on his behalf. So
Tell her I'm sorry. Just
Yep.
tell her I'm sorry.
now he does get up there, and this is where he and Carl fight. Now, hold on one second. Yes, the brother starts fighting him, and he's like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you, and I'm gonna fucking eat you." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" He's beating the shit out of him, and then he freaking hangs him with the chain. And you think that's the end of him, because well, he basically just left him hanging there. Now, Hans discovers Holly is John's wife because of the press and their stupidity. Do you have a message for your parents right now? Come on. And Holly reacted to this, and well, Hans noticed, and he notices the picture that's put down. Oh, Miss McLean, pleasure to make, or Mrs. McLean, pleasure to make your acquaintance. And this is how he does start to get unhinged, because he's so close to his goal. He has all the bearer bonds. They're loading them up, but there's still that creeping factor that he might lose. So they're also sending in gunships instead of helicopters. They're
Which is the
planning
most
on,
retarded move ever.
yes, it was. And
Do what?
I said it was the most retarded move ever.
Which one?
the gunships
Sending in
instead of
gunships?
helicopters.
Oh, I know it's all part of the movie and it's that plot device idea, but if they were seriously going to be, playing the, hey, we're going to make it look like we're giving them what they want, they would send it with the intention that they would bring it down on the ground. And I understand this wouldn't have changed anything because of what they were planning, but they would have sent helicopters that would have loaded people up on it, hoping that maybe one or two of the terrorists would get on then too, and that they could get them off and then get them there. But I mean, again, I think the reason why it's not that important is because it doesn't really matter, because what they're planning to do at the top of the building kind of negates that, what they're doing. So it's this whole one thinks they got them because they're saying both the same thing at the same time. By the time they know what's happening, Johnson
and Johnson are in one of the gunship. One of them has the rifle, and he's like, "Relax, man, or it's gonna be just like Saigon." Remember?
Okay.
He's like, "I was in high school, dumbass."
Reference to that comment. Was I the only one who noticed that those are Vietnam era Hueys?
Nope.
Yeah, those were
That's why I think he makes the Saigon reference.
Yeah.
And I think he says I was in elementary or
No, he was.
I
in
wasn't
high
even
school.
born yet. I could have swore he said I wasn't even
in
born
high
yet.
School, dipshit or dipshit.
Dipshit, yeah.
Well, and fun fact: this is the second time that John McTiernan uses those model of Hueys in his movies. Yeah, those gunships, because he uses the same ones in Predator.
Yes, he did.
Yep.
Fun fact: 69. The look Rickman
As far
gives
as
when
helicopters go, those Vietnam era Hueys are some of the easiest to get a hold of when you work in showbiz.
I can imagine.
Oh my god. So yeah, I'm gonna read out Soul
okay.
Thing later.
So he says it's junior high, but it's close. I mean, it's ninth grade probably is what he meant.
Junior high is like 9th, 10th. Yeah.
Junior high is 7 or 6 through 8th.
That's middle school to me, man.
Okay. So
middle school is
in junior high is it's kindergarten through 6th in elementary. It's 7th and that's how it is here at least.
7 and 8 is high school or middle school.
7, 8, 9th is junior high, and then 11th or 10th, 11th, 12th is high school.
I love how Texas is ass backwards.
Huh?
Because elementary school is pre-K to 5th grade.
Well,
and then it's 6th,
that's
7th.
what it is now, unless you have junior high.
Mm-hmm.
It's
middle school is 6, 7, 8.
Pre-K is from pre-K to 4th grade, and then middle school is from 5th grade to 7th grade.
No, that's not how it is here. So that
That's how
From
it is in
8th grade
Indiana.
up.
it's probably different in a lot of different places. I mean,
It's different
I know.
everywhere because
Yeah, I know.
my
For me, that
K through 6 is elementary, 7 and 8 is middle school, 9 is freshman, 10 is sophomore, 11 is junior, 12 is senior.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's how we did it where I live. But anyway,
Like I said, Texas is ass backwards.
Well, Indiana K through 5 is elementary, then 6 through 8 is junior high, and then 9 through 12 is high school.
that's see
Where you get high a lot.
Well, yeah. When my mother first started teaching, they had junior high in the district that she taught in, and that was, like I said, K through 6, 7th through 9th, and then 10 through 12. Then it switched to middle school, so now it's K through 5, 6 through 8, and then 9 through 12. And then now they have 6th grade centers. It's just 6th grade, and it's like, just pick something and stick with it, please.
So,
Oh, right.
as the gunships are approaching and they're forcing the hostages on the roof to blow the roof, McLean gets up there and he's like, "Where's my wife? Where's my wife?" And the pregnant lady is like, "She's down with them." And so he's like, "Y'all got to get off the roof. It's about to blow." Nobody's moving, and the damn gunship's getting there. So John just starts shooting it off to scare them back down the stairs, and it starts to work. But the people in the gunship are like, I think one of the guys knows the gig's up, so they're shooting hostages. And so they start shooting at John.
Yep.
And John has to get off the roof with the fire hose and almost gets dragged out a window because of it. Now, he then starts going after Hans while Argyle sees the terrorists and plows into the hacker and knocks his ass out. So they can't escape. Then we get to the climax where John confronts Hans. He's just like fucking beat to shit, man. When he gets up, it's like, how are you even standing right now? And Hans has his wife. And we get to that. He's like, and they have the little back and forth. He's like, "What was it you said? Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker." And he's like, so then he shoots Hans and the other guy, and Hans grabs his wife. "We have a Rolex issue. Happy trails, Hans." And so then they had to undo the thing. Now, the fun fact that I said that I was going to read from Soul Assassin is that the look Rickman gives when falling was real. Because McTiernan told him that the safety harness was tied, but then when he let him go, he said, "Oh yeah, the safety harness isn't tied." Rickman was pissed.
Well, so he knew that he was going to free fall, but he was told that it was going to catch him about 5 to 10 feet. I think they said that McTiernan then went and told the riggers, he's like, "I want it to fall 30." Because he knew that would actually get him to react to that. And I think it was because as soon as he started falling, he felt that it was not there. Yeah, and no, that is one of the best things about this, because again, getting a performance is important. And sometimes, like for instance, in totally different type of movie, but in Goonies, when they see the pirate ship for the first time, none of them had seen it. The guy that did Goonies told all the kids, he said, "You're going to slide down the slide, and when you get down to the bottom, I just want you to react to whatever you see." Didn't tell them what was going to be there. Didn't tell them that they had this full-sized pirate ship mock up there. And when they went down there, you see them going, "Whoa," and they're all happy and stuff. That's their actual reactions to it.
Yes.
So it's those types of things. And like this with Rickman, you cannot beat a real reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not much different from
when
Hey,
Yes,
man, it's good to
memes.
see you, man. And it's not much different from what Ridley Scott did in the first Alien, when they have the scene where the chest burster comes out of John Hurt's character.
Yeah.
He doesn't tell them what exactly happens. They just show up, and then it freaking happens.
hmm
And every reaction you get is 100% authentic. So,
Yeah.
getting a real reaction out of an actor, even as good of an actor as Rinkman was, he rests. I pray he
Yeah.
rests in peace.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
listen, he was the voice of God. He's in heaven.
Yes, he was. I
I
Metatron.
love those movies.
Yeah.
I am the Metatron.
I am a seraphim,
What movie
Yeah.
was this?
the highest choir
Dogma.
of angels.
Who?
Yes, Dogma.
Oh,
Yeah, and then what? And then what does he say? What does he say? You know, the voice of God. You know, and then he says one of the other says one of the other angels' names. She's like, oh, and she says, "See, you mentioned them," and he's like, "Oh." Oh, dude! If you've never seen Dogma, Alan Rickman in that movie is
He is so
fucking
good in that movie.
Hysterical.
I
hilarious.
love them.
hmm
Couple of weeks, I'm going to be doing a stream on the movies of Kevin Smith.
Everything
Great.
okay there, Caroline?
Huh?
Everything okay over there?
Yeah. Just in
Okay.
pain.
Ah. So,
Live with it on a daily basis.
yeah. So then,
Having
so
Work my
yeah. So then everybody gets out of the building, and he sees Powell, or John and his wife see Powell, and they immediately know that these are the two that's been talking to each other, you know? And then we think everything's going to be all well and good. But Carl just happens to still be alive.
Yep.
And everybody gets down, and Powell then draws and shoots Carl.
I
Dead.
love that shot.
Mhm.
And then,
That's
yep,
awesome.
it really was. It was the perfect setup. And so while John and Holly are then walking away, they run into the news guy. And Holly slugs him.
Oh,
And rightfully so.
Yep. It's like,
sometimes an asshole just needs to be bitch slapped.
And
no,
that's a great.
And I am
and it
not
plays-
calling Holly.
Oh, go ahead.
a bitch.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
not
no.
calling her. So.
But it does. They did so great to use that in the second movie.
mhm.
I love that.
So that basically ends up, or Argyle ends up taking Holly McLean, now that she's taken the name, back, and decides to take them home, and that ends out the movie, which does have Christmas song at the end. So yeah,
Yeah,
There's multiple Christmas songs.
yeah.
Christmas in Hollis, joyful, joyful, and I think it's Frank Sinatra, "Let It Snow," isn't it? At the
Yeah,
end,
it
which is a nod to the fact that before Bruce Willis got the part, it had to be offered to Frank Sinatra. Did you know
Yep.
that?
Oh wow.
Because there's a what was the Die Hard is a sequel. The movie, not the second one. Nothing Lasts Forever, throat novel. No, that's not it. Die Hard film series. Where is Frank Sinatra was offered the part as John McClane in Die Hard because it says the beloved singer who was 70 years old at the time was offered the part because the film's producer were contractually obligated to, as Sinatra had starred in The Detective, where he played John McClane.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was the movie. It was based off of, I think, either the book Die Hard or a book before it, but it was by the same author. And so in 1966, Roderick Thrope's novel of the same name. So it was The Detective. The sequel book to The Detective is Nothing Lasts Forever, which Die Hard is based on. Because of that, in his contract, it stated that if there was ever a sequel made to that movie, he got first dibs on the role.
Yeah.
Well, all those years later, 70 years old, what do you think he said? He's like, I know. But as a nod to him, they use his song "Let It Snow" at the end.
Nice.
Fun fact.
So there's another nifty little tidbit for you for Die Hard. Yes. Listen, there's a lot of useless knowledge between these ears. Not much smarts, but useless knowledge, yes.
Yep.
I am a font of useful and useless knowledge. Believe me.
So now that we're done the movie, we're going to move to favorite moments. What was everybody's favorite moments? We'll start with Caroline here.
Probably seeing Alan Rickman show up.
Mm-hmm.
The explosion, of course. I love the explosions.
Mm-hmm.
And the scene where Carl shoots the bad guy dead.
Nice. Chris, favorite moment?
Literally anything, any scene that Alan Rickman's in, every scene he's in, he steals it. Even some of I think him and Bruce Willis did a really good job together, but I still think he steals the scenes. Because again, it isn't until the very end that he loses it, that he's miffed. And even then, I don't think he thinks he's not getting away with it. I think he thinks he's still won. And at that point, he doesn't care because everybody else is dead almost, and he's like, "Fine, I'm going to make it." And so again, going back now through Alan Rickman's career, there's standout roles he has. This is one, and like I said, this literally makes him again so unassumingly so. It makes him one of the best movie villains because he plays it so straight and casual. This is, again, if this guy came in, and again, Holly Gennaro in this, when she watches them talking and they're aggravated and stuff, he's not aggravated, but he's telling them to do stuff, and she notices something's wrong, but not because of him, because he's still very go do this, don't worry about that. We're gonna get that. We're gonna get there. This doesn't really change our plans, and I just cannot say how great that is, because most of these movie villains are very hands off, or they're just they were the idea man. They don't actually know how to carry it out. They're not the man that they're just there to be the big boss. He is very much in charge. He is the one that came up with the idea. He is the one who will not let it stray from the idea. And again, he gets his hands dirty immediately. And and again, the way he does it, just the way he does that, like, that's one of my favorite scenes is with the silencer. He's just sitting there talking and just undoing it, like no big deal, and then putting it down, no big deal. Okay, fine, boom, no big deal. And it's like,
what it is.
Yeah, it's like there are very few movie villains that are like that.
Yeah,
because like I said, think about it. There's the completely over the top movie villain, like in Bond. They're so, so metrosexual or whatever the name it now. They're so over the top. They're just, when you listen to their plan, you're like, boy, that's not going to work, even if it wasn't a Bond film.
All right.
But the plan he has is very doable. And he has thought it out. So, I think anything that Alan Rickman, and even more so with the fact that he's dead, this movie is just a great watch because you get to see this man just steal the whole show. Very rarely do you get a villain character who stands up so well against your hero. Because normally, what's the point of a movie with a hero? It's so the hero can win. The hero's going to win. But you could say that there are multiple times that you might think that John McClane isn't going to win, or it's not going to, something's going to happen. Now, after you've seen it, of course, you know what happens and you don't have that feeling. But in this movie, even better than the second movie. The second movie I love, but the villain in that, the whole setup with the villains in that is so poor in comparison.
Yeah.
And again, one guy carries that movie as a villain. It does. The rest of them didn't even need to be there. They're just bit parts. He is the focus. So anything with Rickman, definitely the Al and John's interaction, because again, it's subtle. You may not really think about it, but it's there. Is the fact that Al's relying on him. They're talking. They're doing what a lot of cops or soldiers do. You talk about stuff you were uncomfortable about because that guy knows, that guy understands. And so when John's starting to break down and feel like it's hopeless, Al's sitting there going like, "No, come on, man, you got to go. You got to keep going. You got to get back to your kids. You got to get. You are going to tell your wife this." And when Al starts breaking down, John's telling him similar stuff. It's a very great interaction there between the two of those guys. And again, in an action movie, that's very rare, especially in these days. It's all boom, bang, CGI and all of that. This movie has a lot of good narratives going on that are subplots to the whole story. And fundamentally, that hero's journey type thing. John is one person at the beginning, and at the end, he is another person. And Al's the same way. Al starts out as this like just beat cop. That's a desk jockey, and here he is thrown into this situation, and he ends up rising to the occasion that he thinks he can't. So again, those underlying narratives that while you're watching the movie, you may not understand, you might not know it, but they're there, and it makes the movie so much better for it. So,
Ambassador, what was your favorite moments?
Favorite moments would definitely have to be anytime Holly's having to deal with Hans. Because she walks into that room the first time and she just absolutely owns it. She's like, "What idiot?" He's like, "What idiot put you in charge?" "Well, you did when you killed my boss."
Yeah.
And one of my other favorite scenes when they come back down from one of their little expeditions up to the roof. I think it's after the whole scenario where Hans is pretending to be an American. And Carl smashes the cart with all the snacks or whatever. And she's like, "He's still alive." And one of the other girls says, "What do you mean?" She's like, John is still alive, John. Only John could drive someone that crazy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I absolutely love that line.
But
Another
you know
favorite.
What? I was just gonna say, she says that line with love, though. She's like, "That's my husband. That's my husband through and through." Yeah, and I think that's really important because again, that small narrative underneath everything, it's just subtly thrown in there so well.
Yes. Yep. So, but one of my other favorite moments, John's tirade when he's beating up Carl.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking cook you, and I'm gonna fucking eat you.
Yep.
He's like, "I am going to beat your ass, you big, stupid German." I know he doesn't actually say that, but that's kind of what I would say.
The cookie and eat you part, he did definitely say.
Oh yeah, he did say that. Yeah, he totally said that. Another favorite would be, honestly, it's a small moment. It's a smaller moment, but it's a really good one. When Argyle punches out the hacker.
Yeah.
I love. He's just like, "Yeah, I took out a terrorist.
Yeah,
I took out a terrorist. I'm a badass now."
Mm-hmm.
Argyle, limo driver and terrorist knocker outer.
And my favorite part, honestly, it wasn't so much the action. It was actually one line that was my favorite line. "I'm not the ones who just got butt fucked on national TV."
Oh man!
But, I mean, he just the way that he handled it. Yeah.
Hold on here. You go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll say it after you're done.
Yeah. The way that he handled it, and the way that you could tell that there may have been some lines that were completely ad-libbed, especially by Bruce.
Oh yeah.
Because there's no way that this could have been a freaking clear or approved script. But this movie honestly was actually very well done, and you gotta admire how smart they made McClane, but also how quirky he was as well. He was a wily cowboy, but yet he was also very smart in what he did. He was methodical in what he did. And that's not a very easy combination to do. It really isn't, but Bruce Willis did pull it off very well. Alan Rickman's character was very well done. He is like if he was a Bond villain, Bond would lose. Because I mean,
well, he would lose. Bond would lose if it was Pierce Brosnan, Roger Moore, maybe Sean Connery, but I think I think it'd be. Sorry. I said maybe. But that would make a good movie. But Daniel Craig, I think, would win because Daniel Craig's a much grittier Bond. So
yes, the grittier the Bond, the easier it would be for him to win. But yeah, if it was Brosnan or Rickman would win. But yeah, he just played a villain that wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty. He was exceptionally methodical and extremely intelligent. And you gotta admire that about a villain because you don't see it anymore. He was a Palpatine who was not even in a Star Wars movie, pretty much. He handled the situations. He did it very well, except that this was a Return of the Jedi version of Palpatine where he dies at the end. But anyway, we're going to move on to scoring right now. So,
well, I want to say one thing real quick.
All right.
Hans Gruber is one of my top 5 all-time one-off favorite movie villains. He's right in there with Jean-Baptiste Emmanuel Zorc.
Nice.
Move.
Oh my gosh, that was Caroline's husband.
Yes.
How you doing, Jake?
Blind in one eye.
Sorry to hear that.
He lost one of his contacts torn in half.
Oh, joy.
That sucks. So
now we're Ouchtown, man.
Yeah. So
Population
now we're moving on to scoring. So out of 10, if you want to do a subjective and an objective, you can. We're going to start with Caroline. How would you rate Die Hard?
9.
9. Chris?
Before I did that, there was one other thing. William Atherton, Sir Douchebag. He makes this movie so much better also because of who he is and how he plays that part.
Ellis?
I mean, you can just feel the slime running off of him throughout the whole movie. I give it a 9 too. There's a few reasons why I don't give it a 10. This movie deserves a 10, but there are moments that it's just not 10 worthy. I think, honest to God, if they had played the Johnson & Johnson thing not so campy, because I'm sorry, it's campy between the two of them the whole time they're on. I just don't like that. I would have taken a much more serious because John McClane, his interactions and all of that in the movies, enough comedy. And just their whole shtick between the two of them is not. It takes the movie down, so it gets a 9.
All right, Ambassador.
Well, as much as I respect Caroline and Chris, I respectfully will go against the trend. This is a 10.
Okay. And as for me, my scores were basically an 8 to an 8.5 objectively. Now, objectively is without bias, folks. You got to remember that. Because there are problems with this movie. There are things like the bad special effects with that explosion. Yes, you can argue, oh, it's an 80s movie. Yes, but still, that looked fake as hell. Also, the blue screen back in the 80s movies were god-awful. So you kind of knew that behind Hans Gruber before he fell was fake. There are things that don't hold up very well, even when you translate to high definition.
Oh, it definitely shows up in high definition.
So when you show, or when you, but as far as acting, cinematography, and writing and stuff goes, the movie is very well up there. The movie is top tier, especially with an actor like Alan Rickman and others like Bruce Willis and them. They just really do their best in these movies. They thrived. Now, subjectively, I put it at a 9 to a 9.5. There are some gripes here and there, some things I would have done a little differently, but other things, for the most part, were very good. Moviegoer, which is my third tier, I was completely entertained. It's a 10 out of 10. So with that, I am going to start wrapping this up.
Jacob wanted to say something about the movie real quick, if that's okay.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Hold, sit up.
Listen to your wife.
All right. My rating for it, I would have to say objectively, a 7.5.
Okay.
Some of the cinematography
Mm-hmm.
didn't go against what the script was saying. And
That's
of course,
Of
course,
don't
Bruce
have any
Willis
problems with that.
is not a Christmas movie. I have to agree with Bruce Willis that it is not.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
But it could be,
Thank
since
you.
it was released December 24th.
No. It was not. It was released in July.
It was released in July. Oh, it is.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, Christmas in July. Haha.
When was Die Hard released? It is July 22nd, 1988.
Uh-huh.
People think because it's got Christmas stuff in it that it was released in Christmas, but just like Lethal Weapon isn't a Christmas movie, it was released in the summer. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Continue.
But using Orange Hat's words, subjectively as a moviegoer, I would choose an 8.5.
Alrighty.
All in all, it's a good movie.
Nice. Alrighty. Thank you, Jacob. And you know what? That is a fair assessment from an objective standpoint without bias. He looked at it from an objective lens, and you know what? You can't really fault it.
No.
So, yeah. Anyway,
Oh,
folks.
we're all movie buffs in this house, so.
Nice. So we are going to wrap this up, and
Ambassador and Orange Hat have seen Grandpa's collection.
yeah. So in 2 weeks we will be covering Die Hard 2, Die Harder, and stay tuned.
This time he has shoes.
Yes, this time he has shoes, but there's also
Yes, it
some
is.
great parts in that one as well.
Does he have socks?
So stay tuned for that one in 2 weeks. Next week is the big Hulk versus Doomsday versus stream.
Woo!
So that one's going to air at the same time, 9 p.m. every Friday. Stay tuned for tomorrow in, well, approximately 12 hours' time for the full Aussie on Lethal Lightning's channel with Raging Rhino and Lyndon Howe. So definitely tune in for that, folks. You won't regret it. They're so freaking hilarious.
Yes,
And
they
big
are.
shout out to the Aussies for that, because you know what? Epime and Lethal, Blake Sinclair, Rhino, Lyndon, and so many others. You guys are freaking awesome. Just wanted to put that out there because you really are. Now, anyway, folks, that is going to wrap this one up. Thank you to my brilliant panelists for joining me, Chris Knight, Sexy Goth Girl Caroline, and Ambassador. And we will see you all in 2 weeks as we discuss the sequel, Die Hard 2. And until then, folks, if you're catching this on the replay, like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Let me know your favorite parts, your gripes, and whatnot about Die Hard, and all that lovely stuff in the comment section below. And until then, folks, this has been Orange Hat Reviews and panelists always have a wonderful night, and until then, stay humble.
Yippee-ki-yay!